Hello everyone. My name is Felix Reality. Probably know me. I'm the owner of Relux Studios, as well as some other subsidiaries: Koki the Wolf, Mayhem Studios, Maserati Gemstone, and Wildcards MSNV. This video is a different one. It's kind of strange overall, but I'm not gonna waste too much time, and I'm gonna kind of get straight to the point. Is that, as the thumbnail would suggest, is I have something to say. I'm sorry to all the fans for the confusingness in the content, whether or not it was the original Steve Myths Reimagined, both versions of Origin Saga, the original Vast Legend, Trinity Saga, and everything else, just everything else, for the fans. At a point, I had a lot of regrets about the editing style that I had done because it was kind of sloppy. And the worst part was, not only was it sloppy, but I also had let in a couple moments that kind of messed things up. Especially Steve Myths. I had let in a scene I accidentally slipped by in my editing process where I didn't get rid of a scene where I had done a /fly command or something like that, and I didn't watch it, and so, but now I'm not doing stuff like that. I'm doing a better editing style, more careful editing, if anything, and you know, aiming to do better thumbnails, aiming to do better storytelling, not just story making. Because I can do good story making all I want, but if all of you can't understand it, then I'm doing something wrong. And while everyone overall got the overall gist about Origin Saga, somewhat of Vast Legend, and Steve Myths and everything, to some other people, there was another part of the story that I was telling that I didn't quite make very easy for people to understand: the lore. I didn't do very good at telling the lore coherently. I kind of just did it, and unfortunately it got too confusing, a little too convoluted than I wanted it to, so I restarted the lore. Me telling it in the fan server, for instance. And recently I put the fans on a bit of a quest, a challenge to find the channel, which is still up. I do recommend to go find it if you want to learn about all content. But I definitely had to say sorry to the fans, and this isn't to get a, it's okay, we're here for you. I'm not looking for that, because it's not okay. I was so incoherent with my channel that, yeah, I understood it, but did you? Did you understand the channel? Did you understand the point of the channel? Did you understand the point of the channels? All of the channels have their purpose within the story. And that was unfortunately something I didn't do very well to convey, to make certain things clear. And, well, there's nobody to blame for that but me. And I had a problem with the original version of Vast Legend, because I didn't do very well at directing the team until later. And then during Steve Myths, I did better, but then my editing was just, it could have been better, because now I'm learning as I actually edit my videos properly. There's a lot of open spaces and talking in between words, and I gotta cut those out, and now I'm learning that. So now I'm doing better on editing when I do edit a video, and overall doing what I can to reduce all storytelling. That's important for all of the fans, for all of you to have something coherent, something understandable. But of course, if you easily got the story and all, well, then that wouldn't completely, you wouldn't be in for a treat, for a surprise or a plot twist or something like that. The problem is I'd write a plot twist, and then the plot twist would suck and wouldn't make any sense, because nobody knows the origins of Felix Reality within the lore, or any of the other characters. There was no origin story to anyone. It was just kind of a, oh, this is just at a random point in insert character's life, and now you gotta figure that out. Which is something I ironically hate, and was the entire reason I kind of did Origin Saga, and then tried to give every other world an explanation, but then it wasn't going very well. And so then I thought, well, okay, well then I'll do something better, and then I'll actually connect the series. And I tried to find a good way to do it, and then there was just an overall problem with 2 series, but then I eventually figured everything out on how to make the world better. But then I didn't really give myself the chance to fix a lot of plot holes, because certain characters were supposed to show up that didn't show up, specifically within Origin Saga, and it wouldn't have made any sense for them to be there all of a sudden. And I didn't really want to do random retcons, so I'm having to look back at everything and make sure that the new story that I'm telling, it makes sense. The new version of the story. And this time, it is going to be a lot better. Quality is higher, and a lot of things that I didn't understand that I was doing wrong, I finally figured out what I was doing wrong, but it wasn't easy. I had to find it out based off looking back at a video and going, well, that doesn't look right. It was like either my FOV was too high, or like the shaders, I used the wrong shaders for the 7th time or something. There was like multiple inconsistencies, and sure, if you're doing a player perspective, it's one thing to mess up with shaders, but if you're doing a Steve perspective series, it's very important to at least keep a consistent shaders until like a new season, and that's if you find better shaders. Then you find the better shaders and then use them, and it helps you tell that this season's better, yada yada. Because a lot of stuff goes into detail and stuff like that. I love story making, and I love storytelling, but I wasn't good at the storytelling. But I was good at making lore. I was damn great at making lore, but I didn't do good at conveying and helping others understand all the background and everything else that was there. That's on nobody else but me. The lack of communication with my team, you know, and now I think I'm doing better, and I just plan to keep doing that, not to just keep doing the same thing. So unless the same thing I'm doing was perfect, you know, I wasn't doing anything perfect. I was barely doing a lot of things right. And I owe the fans just so many apologies for that. All of you. I don't think I could say I'm sorry about that 1,000 times and still feel like it does anything, but if I don't say sorry at least just one time, I can't make up for it at all. If I act like it didn't happen, I think it's time that I get on to something else. Some controversies, and sometimes my partake in them. And overall, I just want to say that to, you know, a lot of people in specifically the Steve Saga community, and within other servers that aren't Steve content, and overall within everything to do with content making, whether it be a content creator, a skin maker, a builder, or anything, I want to say I'm sorry. And this isn't to make me look better, like, oh, he's going on camera so he can say sorry or something. No. This is so you can hear it from my voice. I'm not saying this the way I would if I was being sadistic. I sound a specific way, you can ask anybody. But this isn't about being sadistic. This is about being honest, truthful, and being sorry. All I can do is say sorry and try to move away from it. But if I try to move away from it, will someone else? Will somebody else? Will anyone else? Of course, I'm not specifically calling anybody out, and I'm not going to. And if anybody finds anything out, I don't want anybody to go and attack anybody. Let the people be. What I'm here to say is I'm sorry for making the community more toxic. Because, well, that's my fault. I said something I shouldn't have said, and it resulted in conflict, and then it just, you know, and, you know, I feel bad about that. All I can do is say that I'm sorry and try to do better, right? Well, if I try to do better, then don't hate me for doing it. There are many people who can probably relate to what I'm saying. That I did a mistake, you know? And I understand that I did something wrong, but I feel as if I'm being hated on more, and you know, you try to do what you can, but people don't let go. People don't usually let go until you say, I'm sorry, or it was my fault. But you also do have to wonder sometimes if whether or not you're saying sorry for what you said, or if you're saying sorry for the situation. I'll always say sorry for me being wrong, but whether or not someone else says sorry for them being wrong, well, that's up to them. I'll do what I can from this point on to be honest with anyone, because I want the community to be better. And there's a bunch of ideas that I have for 2026. And one thing I'm gonna say is 2026, after everything I've done, doing series, made problems, well, I'm here to say that if I can, I'm going to turn everything around in 2026. 2026, there is no hopefully. That will be a better year. And it'll be my year to do better. Because I have to grow, I have to learn, I have to understand, and I have to understand emotions. And when someone calls something out, I can't exactly be sensitive about it. I have to be able to understand what they're saying, and if whether or not what they're saying is true, understandable, or if they're just saying something to get a rile out of me. And understanding emotions is so important. I'm going to, by the time this video comes out, all my videos have been unlisted. You know, they've been relisted. You can find them all, everything's set up, right back again, because I am no longer ashamed of the videos I made. They were mistakes. I made mistakes. And you know what? That's that. But next year, it won't be like that. I'll do better. With everything that's coming out next year. On every channel, I'm doing better. And so that was something I had to say. I had to say it myself from me. I couldn't do a community post. No, I had to say it to all of you. And so I hope that in some way, somehow, and at some time, anyone that I didn't quite mean to make angry will be able to accept my apology. And if you don't, that's fine. I understand it. But if you don't accept it, don't try to make me worse. And now I am ending the video here. Thank you all. And you know, thank you to those that have been a part of all the positive times in my life. And thank you to all of those who have been there during my hardest points in life. And thank you to those that may or may not have helped me cause some of my own or caused the hardest points in my life. Because now I'll know how to go into a situation differently. And hopefully from now on, it won't be negative. We're only aiming for positivity. That is all we need. Thank you. I had to say something, and I had to say it to everyone, and I couldn't do a community post like I said, so I did a video. And thank you all for this, for everything. Thank everyone for everything, so that I could grow in every aspect. Thank you, all of you.